Well, that's a long question, but it's not going to get an equally long answer. I think it was nearly a year ago that Subhuti wrote and circulated a paper on, I think he called it the need for boundaries. Yeah?
There are limits.
Oh, there are limits, yes. Or the need for boundaries, yes. And yes, there are limits. So this has become, I understand, a topic of discussion within the order. And I myself have had a few exchanges on this subject with some order members, some verbally and some through correspondence. So I think this is something that we have to sort out and be clear about within the order, and ideally within the movement as a whole. That is to say, where the boundaries are, that is to say, if it's agreed that there have to be boundaries, before we invite other teachers to teach at our centers. So I think it in a way confuses the issue if we as it were prejudge the issue by inviting someone like Lama Londrup at the same time as you're discussing in principle whether teachers from outside the movement should be invited to teach at our centers at all. So I think we should, as it were, clear the decks. First of all, try to achieve some agreement as to whether there are boundaries, whether boundaries are needed, then where those boundaries should be, what those boundaries are, and how those boundaries relate to our inviting or not inviting teachers from outside the movement. I must also say, in connection with this particular issue as regards Lama Londrup, that I know that some order members and some mitras even were a little disturbed when they heard that senior order members, some senior order members, had been taking teachings from Lama Londrup, and they wondered, whether they had perhaps lost faith in the FWBO, or whether they themselves could have faith in those senior order members because of their apparent lack of faith in what we had to offer within the movement. So that's why I think there has to be a general clarification of our position with regard to boundaries, if any, and with regard to whether we invite teachers from outside the movement or not.